IVM.
Hi everybody, on behalf of the team at IVM Podcast, I have a request for you. We'd really appreciate it if you could go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and fill out our survey over there. It's going to take a few minutes to do, but it gives us some really interesting information that we can take to advertisers and brands about who's listening to the network. If you're comfortable giving us your email address, while you're filling out the survey, we'll enter you into a random drawing where we'll be sending out a bunch of IVM swag to some of our listeners. Last year we sent out coffee mugs, and this year we're hoping to send out much cooler stuff. That's ivmpodcast.com/survey. We really appreciate your help.
Welcome to Shootball, guys. Episode 13. How excited are you guys this weekend?
Very, very, very excited. It was a great weekend. Almost great weekend, and I will come to that in a bit because of a certain other club and not Fulham. Fulham did exceedingly well, but someone else ruined my entire Sunday. But Shivram, we'll get there in due course.
Fair enough. So that was Karthik Iyer's voice that you just heard, our friend from Bangalore, who's incidentally this week in Bombay. So welcome to Bombay, Karthik. The weather's great. There's summer, winter and monsoon at the same time. The other friend we have on this podcast is Gaurav Sapre. Gaurav, say hi.
Hello.
Amazing. He's as broken as United's form. Please pardon Sapre's internet. It is as terrible as he is as a human being. He's not actually. He's a very nice human being. His internet, although, is governed by powers that may. Anyway, we'll talk a lot about football today. I mean, surprise, surprise. Top of the agenda is the EPL. Fun games over the weekend, but what's going to happen in the coming weeks is there's going to be games coming fast and furious. There's going to be blockbuster midweek games. There's going to be weekend games. And by the end of the, I think, next 3 weeks, we'll have done at least 2-3 more episodes. So we're excited for that. The Champions League draw happened today along with the Europa League draw. And of course, we'll also touch upon FPL. But a lot of that, including Arsenal's bait after Ayer says his final goodbye before we head into the break.
So before we go into Amit's messages, I wanted to ask you something. Games coming, I thought you were going to say thick and fast, but you said fast and furious, which got me thinking, what the hell does thick and fast mean? What comes thick and fast that this phrase came about?
With that image in your head, we will cut into a quick break. You will need a couple of minutes, maybe even a glass of water. We'll be right back, guys.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, don't you think it's about time you started? We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I wanted to kind of just give a quick reminder to everybody. As I mentioned up top, we are doing our annual listener survey right now. If you could please go and take a couple of minutes out of your day and fill it out, we would really, really appreciate it. It's ivmpodcast.com/survey. If you're comfortable giving us your email address, we'll enter you into a random drawing, and we're going to be sending out swag to a bunch of randomly selected listeners. So do definitely get on board that train. Let me tell you a little bit about what we did on the network this week. We launched a new show called Zindagi Diaries with Ragini Kumar. Many of you might have seen Ragini on television during the IPL. She's a presenter, but she's showing a different side of herself over here with a poetry podcast. Give it a shot, give it a listen. Let me know what you all think. Vishal Gondal is back this week after a while. He's been on an extended break, but he has Rahul Narvekar for the first episode. Really interesting conversation. Do check it out. Raji Samant joins Gauri Devidayal on This Round Is On Me. The two talk about the wine business and what's going on there. We had a number of conversations about the Farmers' Bill and the surrounding agitation this week on the network as well. Maruk Inayat had a great episode on the note. Puliabazi did a deep dive into the issues around this. And on Siders, we have our typical, fun conversation about this stuff with a little bit of a seriousness, a little bit of fun. Do check that out on Cock and Bull on Thursday last week. Akash Mehta joined us for that episode. And with that, let me get you back to your show.
And we're back. I'm sure you've all Googled it by now. Thick and fast is the phrase that Ayer wanted you to look it up. Please look it up. Tweet to us. Ideally, not images. Just tell us what it means. We are not going to Google it because that's how we are, lazy as hell. Karthik, let's start with you. You're the only Fulham supporter I know of. I think Fulham also knows of only you. How did it feel drawing with the champions? And at one point in time, you might have won it.
And I think a lot of people will say should have won it as well, with some dubious calls given by a certain referee that goes by a weird name of Andre for an Englishman. But yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was actually fun. Fulham actually played well for 45 minutes. Even Sapre, who is the biggest naysayer that we have, cannot disagree with that.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, Cristiano Lukman was right on that game.
Lovely. I mean, Liverpool was that Fabinho foul should have been a penalty. The penalty awarded to Liverpool shouldn't have been a penalty. But then who am I? I had Salah in FPL team. So, I mean, I feel happy for that. But Fulham deserved to win that game totally.
Did they possibly deserve to win it by 2-0, right, Karthik?
I mean, if you look at it, we when I say we, I mean the guys who played, not me. I should take no credit for that. But we absolutely deserved at least that point. That point was a credit. It's telling in a way that we're kind of upset that we came away with only a draw. And I'll tell you one thing. This was, I think, the first weekend where fans were back. Yeah. In certain stadiums across England, and even with just 2,000 people there, it was pretty loud. It was much louder than anything they served us at the Emirates later, and we'll come to that later as well. Yeah. But I mean, it's when you look at Fulham, you're not going to just come out and say, guaranteed relegation, right? There is some fight, there is something there that seems to be working well.
They look like I think I'm repeating what the comm said. They look like a unit.
Yeah, again, what does unit mean? Just because it's thick, so that means they're fast as well. Like, is that like this makes no sense, right?
Like a unit in the military, like a unit,
like a centimeter or a millimeter or an inch.
Oh, Baba, not the literal meaning anyway. So, which is why we don't focus on Fulham too much, because we get into the weeds. The chart buster this weekend was going to be United versus City, the Manchester derby, and De Bruyne, De Gea, the RB. What are your thoughts on that boring nil? I'm going to let Sapre go so you can get it out of the way.
Yeah, no, I'm so happy that clean sheet at Old Trafford, which is always exciting to see. I didn't see the match because I had some things to do, and I don't regret doing those and not watching the match. But I was watching the highlights, and
there are highlights in that game.
Yeah, so second half highlights. They showed not even some shot, some random pass. So I thought, it must have happened in the first 10 minutes. And that's it. Then they showed the final whistle. They didn't even have enough to put in the highlights. It's so sad. But then again, clean sheet at home. What more can United fan expect?
Basically, it's a point against City. So you're in the same boat. Like Fulham gets a point against Liverpool. So you're both happy.
Yeah. So all of them were telling Ole to make a point after the debacle in the Champions League. He did make a point.
That build-up was far too much and it gave the joke away right at the start. So future feedback. The other game, which I think is, pretty much an upset, is Everton beating Chelsea at home, 1-0. Chelsea looked toothless in attack, in spite of having all three strikers on, Werner, Giroud and Tammy on the left. Karthik, your expert opinion on how bad is Lampard?
Actually, I'll differ from my expert opinion to yours, Shivram, because you say Everton beating them was an upset, but then you also, this evening or yesterday, brought up this stat about Chelsea and the quality of teams that they have actually beaten during this 17-match unbeaten run that they have had. And Sevilla result notwithstanding, that was impressive when they beat them 4-0. But Sevilla are the only half-decent side in that entire list.
And absolutely. And I'll just walk through that list. And this will remind you of United's form when, post-lockdown, we had those 8-10 games before the end of the season. And suddenly United was the top of the town, but they were in a similar boat. They had easier games. Chelsea, 6 wins this season are against 18th place Burnley, 14th place Leeds, 20th place Sheffield United, 11th place Newcastle, 13th place Crystal Palace and 16th place Brighton. And Chelsea versus the top 10 teams have been 0 wins, 3 draws and 2 losses. So what that essentially means is that they haven't really hit the stride, irrespective of the fact that they've spent a lot. And from what I hear, Pulisic is coming back. But I thought Chelsea was going to win. Like, it looked like a great squad on paper, but hasn't panned out. Sapre, what do you think?
It's a much improved team from what it was before with Mendy, actually. He's, I think, one of the better signings of this season, just like how Jota was for Liverpool. But you're right. I never realized that they've only shown this kind of performance against teams in the bottom half or so. But yeah, when we talk about the Champions League draw, probably that's when we'll talk a little bit about Chelsea and what they can do with their side. Yes, Pulisic is back in the squad, but given the way Lampard's team selection has been, which is erratic.
Wayward, yeah.
Yeah, 2 games Giroud plays well and you want to put him on top for 2 games running in the Premier League. That's not going to work for you. So this time I'm in Karthik's boat. Lams has lost it. He doesn't know what to do. What's his best side right now? But that's not because he has too many good players. He just spent too much money on too many players, so he has to give everybody a chance.
Fair enough. And by that bargain, I think Karen Hudson-Odoi actually may get to start at some point in time, because at least he's one of the stars who are rising. But what that means is, for the table, Tottenham continue to be number 1 on goal difference. Liverpool are number 2, equal on points, 25 points. Leicester are third. They thrashed Brighton at home, 3-0. Vardy and Maddison doing their magic again. Southampton are fourth. They're just 2 points off the lead. What do you guys think about Southampton? They also thrashed Sheffield. I mean, Sheffield didn't even have a shot. McCarthy tweeted, who's the keeper for Southampton, tweeted after the game that this was a great watch, because he literally watched the game from the other end. Vestergaard was playing, who's a defender for Southampton. FPL managers take note. He, by halftime, him and Bednarek, who's the other centre-back for Southampton, had more finished passes than the entire Sheffield team. So both of them had over 40 passes and Sheffield had 40 passes. So, I mean, it's very telling of where Sheffield is, but Southampton look like they're a squad which can win.
Yeah, great summary of Southampton, Shivram. What I think about Southampton is only their next opponents, who are Arsenal. Yeah, that's all. I know you're trying not to mention Arsenal. It's been 15 minutes of the podcast already. You've reached Southampton and Vestergaard and Bernardeschi or something, you're saying. But that's not how it works here. We need to talk about Arsenal, who lost to Burnley. But at least Aubameyang broke his scoring duck.
Yeah, I mean, does that count as a -1? Is he worse off now? He has to score 2 to say that I got out of my duck. You should hear the Arteta interview for whoever is interested in listening to Arteta interviews. I'm sure I'm not one of them. I ended up listening to it. There's a lot of conspiracy right now that he's given up the dressing room because he basically wants these players to leave. The players don't have the give to come back and win his favor. So they're like, okay, chal raha hai, chalne do. So a lot of things happening at Arsenal, but none of them seem to be working out. I saw this amazing tweet. I sent it to you guys also. Arsenal has no tactics, just inshallah and vibes. I think nothing else has summarized Arsenal's form. Xhaka did what he does best. Instead of getting a yellow, he just got a straight red. Trying to choke slam the opponent doesn't really cut it here. But yeah, terrible. I mean, what can I say for that squad anymore? I think.
But this time this goes into Xhaka's favor actually. He fought with another guy. And then there was another Burnley player who was just trying to stop 2 people from fighting and eventually just fell down because there was a lot of pushing. He was the one who got to him, and that's why he tried to do the choke slam. But sad, no? So sad for Arsenal. And what do you mean by he wants players to leave? Wasn't he the one who decided to extend David Luiz's contract, and then there are...
No, that is Edu. Edu is making a Brazilian holiday home at Arsenal is what is happening.
Now it makes sense with Willian also in the team.
Yeah, there's Willian, there's of course our Gabriel Martinelli is also there, but he doesn't get to start. He's actually one of the bright sparks, hasn't started yet.
He's injured actually, he's still hurt. So
yeah, he's still hurt. I think he's started for the under-21s recently. But anyway, I mean, my only question to you guys is, has any team ever been relegated and won the Europa Cup?
There was, I think, maximum one team got relegated and qualified for the UEFA Cup or Europa League, whenever that was. I'm pretty sure that happened. But or won the FA Cup actually and got relegated, something of that sort. But no.
That must be against, that was, I think, Birmingham City.
Arsenal, yeah.
When Koscielny and Szczesny decided to talk to each other in the middle.
If I'm not mistaken, that's when they were relegated from the Premier League as well.
That sounds about right. Yeah, usually against Arsenal.
It's so boring to watch Arsenal games, Siva. I mean, not
tell me about it, man.
Games, but
but yeah, what leg are you standing, Sapre, by saying that it's boring to watch a team play? You didn't even see the Manchester derby, Siva, and I saw it, and that was 90 minutes of.
Oh my goodness, terrible!
But you can't put United at fault for that. It was City's fault. United had lost in the midweek. All they could do at least get 1 point from somewhere. But it's City's fault actually.
I'll give you that, because United have at least, with all their frailties, have given us entertainment in this season, like going goals down and coming back, or going 3-0 down and not able to come back. So there has been some entertainment.
Not able to come back.
Yeah, this weekend has been a pass for United. Fine.
I'll tell you this amazing thing that Arsenal, this will tell you how bad they're in form. Like when they were talking about the Fulham Liverpool game, they had to go back to 2011 and say that was the season when Fulham actually did a double over Liverpool. The last time they beat Liverpool, Clint Dempsey scored in one of the games and Martin Skrtel had an own goal. So 2011 was the last time Fulham beat. Abhi Arsenal ka matlab that form that they're in, where they've lost 5 consecutive home games, they had to go back to 1958. That is how far back we have to go and say कि record है कि नहीं है कि उससे भी पहले. Arsenal haven't lost 4 in a row in 1958. They've never lost 5 in a row. So this will be a record-breaking season at Arsenal. And with that, let's move on to more important things. Karthik, Sapre, we were watching the UEFA Champions League draw today along with the Europa League. What are your thoughts? Tell us the draw first, and then why don't you give us your top game of the lot?
Yeah, sure. So let's go through the draw. We had Mönchengladbach first, and City obviously will get an easy draw in the round of 16. They got
Why
10.
do you say that, man?
I mean, usually they do. They end up losing to some of these weird teams like, not weird, my apologies, but lesser teams like Monaco and Lyon. But yeah, they've again got probably the easiest draw that you can expect. Lazio are playing defending champions Bayern Munich. Sapre's pick of this round, Sapre, Atletico versus Chelsea.
It is, absolutely. And Lampard has come out and said that Atletico the toughest Champions League draw possible. He's already thrown in the towel, I guess.
Does he know there's Bayern Munich in the draw as well?
वहाँ तक तो कहाँ पहुँचेंगे यार?
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. So that will be interesting. I mean, again, it'll be foolhardy to say anything about these games now simply because they're 2 months later. And you don't know what will happen. But I think something that you're looking forward to, Shivram, is Leipzig versus Liverpool. When I was talking to you, you said Leipzig is a club on the up. And it's interesting simply because Nagelsmann is playing, what's his name? Jurgen Klopp in a battle of the Germans.
Yeah, the up-and-coming German versus the solid German.
The guy who wears nice suits versus Klopp's look.
Yeah, I mean, whatever that. New Balance, brought to you by New Balance.
So that should be fun because it's last year's semi-finalists, of course, in Leipzig, and they've done pretty well. They knocked out United. Let's see if they can knock out United's arch enemies. Shivram's favorite pick was Juventus when they drew Porto. He's extremely happy because despite
Ronaldo will
that,
get to 100 goals in that game only.
against a club from his home country. This is my pick of this round, and I think a lot of people's, where Barcelona are playing Paris Saint-Germain. We've heard a lot of talk, Sapre, recently about will Neymar come back to Barcelona, or now it's become whether Messi will go to PSG to play alongside Neymar. I think that WhatsApp group still exists. So now these two get to share the same field together, if not the same club.
Yeah, I like Siva's joke when after the match they'll exchange jerseys, but both of them would want to have a PSG jersey. That's good.
But on the Europa League?
Oh, Europa League, what thoughts?
Arey, hum tum Europa League mein hi hai, brother.
Let's get there. There are 2 more games that we have to cover. Sevilla playing Dortmund. Dortmund have sacked their manager, Lucien Favre, after a 5-1 defeat. Now, I have only one thing to say. The last time a club in Germany sacked their manager after a 5-1 defeat, that was Niko Kovac, they went and won the treble. So, hey, maybe there's something great on the horizon for Dortmund this season. And lastly, we have Real Madrid playing Atalanta. I don't think anybody can predict this.
It'll be a goal fest as far as I can tell.
Hopefully, yeah. This should be fun. But yeah, I think you were mentioning the Europa League. What's interesting is your 2 clubs have probably arguably got the biggest fixtures. And this is not saying it simply because there are more United and Arsenal fans than any other club. It just seems to be that United, Real Sociedad is the pick of the bunch. And Arsenal, Benfica. Benfica, another historically good club in the UEFA Cup / Europa League. You know what, Shivram? Did you hear the stat?
What is this?
When the draws were going on, there were 13 different league toppers as it stands in the Europa League draw, and 0 in the Champions League, including the big 5 leagues.
Oh my goodness. So luckily, Arsenal doesn't fall into either bracket.
But Thursday nights where it's at Sapre.
Yeah, no, I'll be honest, United, and I don't really care what's going to happen because they're going to eventually lose. I am genuinely backing AC Milan to win the Europa League. I think they're on the up. They're still top of the table in that whatever league they play in Italy.
Whatever league. Yeah. Serial A.
Some league. Some Portuguese penalty taker also plays in that league. But
Hey, Bruno is in United, pagal.
so I'm hoping, and they've got what I think Red Star Belgrade in the. So I hope they at least get a chance to reach the last four.
Team names.
No, no. So I'm supporting AC Milan this time to win the Europa League. Hopefully.
Yeah, that will probably be the most historic because that's the only tournament Milan haven't won. One of the most decorated sides in the world have never won the UEFA Cup or the Europa League. Most likely because they've never been in it. But yeah, so that's something
Milan.
to. Yeah, AC Milan have never won the second tier European competition.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah.
Champions League. I watched it live.
So that's what the second tier because they've hardly ever been in it. So,
Also, a moment of silence for Inter.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Last year's finalists, right?
Last year's Europa League finalists are now out of every tournament in Europe. Maybe, and I can only look at silver linings. Considering they're only 3 points off the top of Serie A, this will give them a good push to just focus on the league.
Talking about good push, how's Lukaku doing?
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Yeah, you know what's interesting, but Inter's best player. I mean, by a distance, he drags them to the final. He drags them to a stage where they can qualify. In the final of the Europa League, he went and scored an own goal. In this crucial group stage match, he went and stuck his head in a place where it didn't belong. And in both cases,
Sanchez would have scored. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I mean, imagine poor Sanchez. But yeah,
Lukaku can't be blamed for not expecting that to happen. No.
I mean, yeah, I'm Lukaku's biggest supporter, but even at regular pace, it took some time for the ball to come to him. He should have moved it. It's like he had given up. He was
Here in
frustrated.
the headlights happened.
Yeah, it was a very bad look. But yeah, that's the way
It makes for a great Twitter video, man. I mean, what are you complaining about?
I mean, they slowed it down too much. Huh? I felt that guy who made that video, that was some extreme slow-mo, yeah?
It is what it is. Deal with it. Okay, so that covers all of it. But what we are looking forward to, and by the time I think you hear this has already happened. Wolves play Chelsea. Quick prediction, Sapre.
Oh, Chelsea, I guess, will win. Wolves. And I had a lot of hopes from Neto. But I don't think something's not working for them. I think without Jimenez. So I'll go for Chelsea. I think Chelsea needs a win at the back of that last performance from them. I don't think it's going to be a goal fest like it was against Liverpool. I think Liverpool scored 4 against Wolves, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I don't see 4 happening again, but at least a couple of goals from Chelsea and a win for them.
Okay, not bad. Karthik, City against West Brom. How many will City pump against West Brom?
Yeah, I mean, but City are so. I get where Sapre is saying they're a bore, man. They could pump 5, but they will still bore me. Like City versus Burnley was not entertaining. It's not something that you want to sit and watch 90 minutes of. So
fine, okay.
Let them hit how many of our goals. Yeah,
I'll cut this short. Let's talk about the only game that will possibly matter.
Yes.
Top of the table, 1 versus 2. Tottenham play Liverpool. Liverpool's at home at Anfield. Mourinho visits Klopp. Quick predictions from both of you.
Tottenham, Spurs, Hotspurs, Tottenham Hotspurs, White Hart Lane, ex-White Hart Lane, current new White Hart Lane, wherever.
The you're saying?
Spurs are winning.
Give me a scoreline.
I would say Kane will score, and then you would assume Son will score, and then let's have Gareth Bale come off the bench and get a 95th minute consolation.
What is this fantasy league or what? Just
winning goal. 3-0.
3-0. Wow, that's blatant. Sapre, can I have a realistic prediction?
2-1 to Liverpool.
Very nice. That is what I like.
One second. So I know your mind sounds a bit far-fetched, but here's where I'm at. Against Fulham as well, if Spurs play in a similar way, Liverpool's defense was Jordan Henderson and Fabinho.
Yeah.
And they are coming up against two of the only attackers for Tottenham A, and 2 of the best attackers in the league. Because Spurs attack with just those 2 and their pace. So, I mean, I see Liverpool suffering a bit in this match. Maybe
it's 5-5.
So what I think is if Fulham didn't play on the counter against Liverpool, right? They were right there. If you look at the stats, I guess they had 10 shots, Liverpool's 12. I think they won more aerial duels than Pool. They weren't on the back foot. Spurs against big team like to hit them on the counter. So I don't think it will worry Liverpool too much because Pool are used to teams, sitting back and trying to hit them on the counter. So, but I think Liverpool's got a good trajectory. He would want to win this game against Mourinho, and I think he'll be able to do it.
Fantastic. Okay. Just before I cut to the break, the last shout out I want to give for the game is going to be Leicester versus Everton. I think it's going to be a cracker with DCL playing against Vardy. But with that, tell us what you think.
I told you last week. We spoke about Everton last week. Then we'll revisit them in 3 months. Nah? I don't get this talking about Everton all the time.
Sorry, guys. You didn't hear that from me. So we will come back with FPL. A lot has happened since we last looked at our FPL teams. And of course, we'll have tips and tricks for some of the games that are coming up. Please stay tuned and we'll be right back after these messages.
Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, Don Bradman, and now Cyrus Brocha. Okay, probably not in the right company. I mean, Don Bradman is Australian. But it's called Cyrus Says, a wonderful show about everything. Find the show on the IVM Podcast app, ivmpodcast.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Welcome back, guys. This is still Football Shootball. We are the last segment of today's episode. FPL is on everyone's mind except Karthik's. Karthik, why don't you just quickly start with your score for this week and then we can get rid of your opinions.
I think it would be a shame to give my score, but then Chilwell is still my captain and Jimenez is somehow still in my team. So I have a request for anyone listening to this. If any of y'all play any other leagues ka fantasy league, just invite me on those. Maybe I'll be better off there.
Okay, so basically Karthik is one less on the Football Shootball Fantasy League. Sapre, how did you do?
I didn't do too well, actually. I made some decisions that didn't work in my favor. Actually, one of them didn't. I got Fornals in this week. It didn't work out. Grealish didn't work out this week. Bruno, everybody had, so I'm not really complaining about Bruno.
Ooh, Shivram has climbed above Sapre.
Yep. Why do you? I was coming to that. Hold on.
In the FPL this time. I got 60 points, but I didn't have Vardy. So a lot of people have done well. Bad team selection from me this game week. So, but okay. I have a couple of tricks up my sleeve because games are thick and fast. So
yes,
points also come thick and fast. Fast and Furious has got points are going to come to me. But I got Vestergaard and I had Justin. So I got points on them. And I was happy I got 6 for McCarthy. But then I had Martinez on the bench who got 11. So,
oh, man. Sucks.
So that sucks.
I have a question, but...
or FPL. I don't know.
On FPL. Sapre, you're in a league that's called 22 feet, 4th and inches. That started in the second game week. So there has to be some story behind this, right? Like, did you realize you weren't in enough leagues and just got 5 of your friends together?
No. So this was a league, my previous office when I was at 22 feet, we had started. Mm-hmm. And I think they've all forgotten. Or maybe the people on top are just happy that they are just winning some league with some 6 people in it. So it's continued. I don't bother. I don't even know if I know these people anymore. Not that I know anymore. They're
all 2 feet apart.
Correct. So yeah, forget that is that's training league. But I've fallen on a 90th on Football Shootball, which is great if I look from where Karthik is.
Yeah, and in spite of the fact that you took a minus 24.
Which is what I'm going to do because that works for me now. I'm going to take under minus 24 and then climb up.
Okay, so let's look at the Football Shootball League. If you want to join this league, go to fantasy.premierleague.com, put in the code H3OMYA, that's H3OMYA, put it on the site. You can join the Football Shootball Fantasy League. Let's quickly go over the top 5 who I think are...
And Shivram beat Sapre with none of his bench scoring any points, despite the fact that Lamptey also didn't score any points. So Shivram basically had 10 players. Yeah.
Nice.
He had Souček on the bench. He had Souček
starting.
No. He switched.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Basically came off.
And Salah playing, and Vardy playing, and Kane playing, and Justin playing, and McCarthy playing. So that's pretty impressive.
Thanks.
And he's also part of a league called Financial Fair Play where he's fallen down.
Look, Siva got 16 points more than I did, and that's coming. Most of it comes from Vardy, which he had and I didn't.
Yeah, he had Werner.
You.
Anyway, let's go back to the...
Most of it comes from Vardy. Today, Brighton is coming out and saying, "Arey, we didn't actually lose. It only came from Vardy."
Okay, Karthik is in a mood which we don't usually encounter. Let me just quickly go back to the league. I know you're waiting to hear your names. Drizzy, Ankit Kini still number 1, 799. He's almost 800. Insane. Bharatiya Janata Party number 2, Karan Babla. Very well done, man. Apurva Tiwari, arsenic beryllium carb. Tell us what it means. 788 points. Number 3, Kevin Do Burun Pao. It's a poetry on some level. Okay, I'll give it to you, Jasim Khan. 87 points. Well done. 783. Who's your cap? Number 5, Akshay Tejwani. 73 points on 782. The guy who I was talking about, Kevin Do Burun Pao, Jasim Khan or girl, I don't know. They had bench boost. So good job using a bench boost because they had Vestergaard, Pickford and DCL on the bench. Obviously, the entire team played. So not bad at all. Well done. The winners of this league obviously get to pick a jersey of their choice. So if you support Chelsea, and which is what the last winner of the Shootball League did last year, they picked up the 3 jersey. I don't think you'd want any more of those. We saw them over the weekend. And Karthik has a choice description of that jersey. He said these look like those Delhi t-shirts, which I think he's wearing right now also. What he means by that is it's basically one image which is, painted many times over the t-shirt in a random manner. Enough about Delhi, but this was fantasy football. There's a lot happening in these weeks, so hold on to your chips. I would recommend you use your wildcard when it comes, but hold on to your free hits and your bench boost because there will be double game weeks. I think in game week 18 and 21 is the double game week. Just look that up, but it's very important you hold on to them. Or if you're Karthik, just captain Chilwell.
I have a very technical question, Shiva, for you.
Yes.
On the Shootball League, number 20 and number 21, the team names is called Change Name. What the is that?
Change name?
Yeah.
Did you ask them to change name at some point in time? That sounds like it could have been because of us.
But I love Paul D'Souza, number 19, Pep Gardulla. Very nice name.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Number 18 is Shlok Chaturvedi, the Royal Arsenal, 752. But, oh, yeah, that is so funny. Why do both of them have changed name? Are they friends and are above each other? That is insane. Karanveer Singha and Sriram Venkatesh, you guys have to tweet to us and tell us what the hell is happening.
Except if your name was offensive and Premier League has asked you to change it, then maybe we don't want to hear from you, yeah?
That, I think, is a good way of addressing it, yeah, because it's in caps. But just DM us, maybe. Don't tweet.
DM us, yeah.
Awesome. And with that, we're at the end of this fun-filled episode. There are lots of games coming. We're really excited. I mean, who needs sleep anyway? This is the holiday season. Sleep in the day. I mean...
But you know what we'll get? Because I know this midweek it's there, but Champions League is not there until Feb. So a lot of midweeks after this Christmas period are going to be free for the next month and a half.
Yeah, I was just talking about... See, for me, when I mean now is till 4th of Jan. After that, it's a new year, so I don't care about that. For now, I'm only focused between now and then because as you know, I also get winter vacation. So this is my focus. I'm just going to be sleeping in the day and watching games in the night.
So you're like the Bundesliga. Yeah. That should sleeping be complimentary enough.
Correct. Nobody in the games? No, nobody knows you. That's what he meant.
Oh, got it.
I meant you get winter breaks.
Okay. Why do they get winter break?
Because it's too cold.
Does Russian League also get winter breaks?
No, they play with orange ball. Different it is.
Oh, that like Tejasvi Surya. Hey, Karthik, are you entering that football league?
The Tejasvi Surya right? International competition. Yeah. But no.
Is it international? Is it just Bangalore?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't really seen the poster. But no, I will
throw international into the.
No, sorry. It's the Football Cup. It's the biggest five-a-side tournament in South Bangalore. I don't live in South Bangalore, so.
So you're only South Bangalore allowed, what?
I'm assuming it says you're Bangalore South. So, yeah. Okay. I won't be taking part. Now, unless I get invited like to be a referee or something, I don't mind.
Oh, yeah. You're also a coach, right? D license.
Yeah. So maybe, I'll be in charge of a team.
You'll make money off BJP. I've never heard that before.
The Orange Tornadoes. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That cut deep. Okay. So, Sapre, any last words before we cut you off?
No last words. Just looking forward to the games. I'm happy. I'm happy with this season starting late. There are a lot of games happening, and now it's December, so it's chock-a-block. I hope to see all the games till January because February onwards you'll have this stupid Europa and all that shit. So.
And we'll have to work also. There's chock-a-block, thick and fast, fast and furious. Take your pick. Tell us what you think about these games. Tell us what you thought about this podcast. This was Shootball. So if you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media handles. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I'm Fickleberry Hun on Twitter and Instagram. That's Huckleberry Finn, but Fickle.
If you want to reach out to me, I am Sapre on Twitter and Sapre on Instagram.
You can reach out to me at iRant, which is IYERANT on Twitter and Instagram. This is Football Shootball. Recognize.
Whether you're an established sports person or a budding one, or simply a sports enthusiast, join us, Tanvi and Shlok.
We are two passionate pro badminton players talking policy, mindset and everything sport.
So tune in to the Millennial Athlete every Monday.
Only on the IVM Podcast Network.
Trust us, it's gonna be lit.
Are you looking for India's most awesome cricket podcast? Are you now tired of listening to the same old guys drone on about cricket everywhere? Edges and Sledges is a weekly cricket podcast hosted by three fans of the game, Varun, DJ, and myself, Ashwin. It was established in early 2018, has over 60 episodes now, and is of course now proud to be on the IVM Podcast Network. Each week, we get together from 3 different time zones, the USA, the UK, and Singapore, and we talk about things from the world of cricket, with a focus on Indian cricket. We often interview special guests from all around the world, including former cricketers and cricket media personalities. So check out Edges and Sledges, the cricket podcast, now on the IVM Network.